Hey, what's up guys? This is Bryce Van Hoosen from Silver Talon, and today we're going to talk all about nuts. My nuts, your nuts, everybody's nuts. Actually, I guess not everybody's nuts. We're talking about the new nuts from Lok-n-Roll Compensated Floyd Rose nut that was just released this year. Alright, so before we jump into it, I just want to say that Lok-n-Roll did send me this nut for free. But everything that I say here in this video is going to be my own opinion, of course. And the fact that this was sent to me is really only convenient for me because I would have bought one anyway. That's how much I love these things. So if you guys have seen my previous video that I did a couple years ago about the version 1 of the Lok-n-Roll locking Floyd Rose nut, or just locking nut, you could use it with a K or two, why not? But if you see my first video about the compensated locking nut from Lok-n-Roll, you'll know how much I just loved and really kind of endorsed this particular product. As I said in that video, I've always thought that the locking nut was sort of the area where not a lot of improvements have been made since kind of the inception and release of it. To me, I don't know, it just seemed like that was always kind of the weakest link in the overall locking, double locking tremolo system, right? Because there's all these kind of different upgrades and things that you can make with the actual bridge, but it seems like nobody had really done anything about this piece of the chain, which is also obviously a very important part of the tonal chain and overall kind of feel and response that your guitar is going to give you, right? So that's why I'm really stoked that Lok-n-Roll have done just that and have come up with a sweet upgrade that you can just kind of drop into any guitar that has comes with like a standard Floyd Rose nut. Anything that's basically going to go in this general area. Not really the Kaler behind the nut ones, but you know, if you have a locking nut that is actually at the nut area, the 0 fret area, I guess if you will, this will just drop right in, and it's a super easy install, and it's going to make your guitar sound and play a hell of a lot better. So, all right, first question that I get a lot about these is, what the hell is it? What is a compensated nut, and why might I want one? So, as opposed to a normal nut, which basically just has 6 or 7, depending on how many strings your guitar has, individual slots that sort of just leave the nut at the same basic area, a compensated nut is actually somewhat adjusted per string to basically maximize the overall tuning of your guitar at the open and, you know, first, second, third fret, that sort of thing. So it's almost like, if you can imagine here, this is going to sort of be somewhat compensated like a bridge would be, right? You'll notice the saddles on the bridge are not exactly even, right? I have moved some either forward toward the nut or further back, depending on, you know, basically what the string is calling for. So we should know how to do that. Everybody should be pretty much familiar with intonating at the bridge, right? And on some guitars where you can't necessarily intonate at the bridge, such as like a Gibson wraparound or something like that, you'll notice that not everything, it isn't just sort of a straight line that the string kind of, you know, flips over onto, right? Some of them are closer, some of them are further away, and that is because that bridge is compensated to basically maximize the tuning stability and sort of the perceived intonation of where each string is sort of going to sit in order to maximize the tuning of said string. So we do that at the bridge pretty much across the board, right? But at the nut, we really don't do that, and that is sort of where a compensated nut comes in. Basically, same idea kind of applies. Instead of having each string sort of leaving the nut at the same area, we can basically move where it's leaving either further away from the bridge or closer to the bridge, depending on what string it is, in order to sort of maximize the stability or the tuning of each thing, of each string. Specifically at like the first, second, third, and so on frets. As we know, being guitar players, I'm sure everybody has kind of played sort of cowboy chords, I guess, for lack of a better term, at the, you know, first to third frets. and maybe they sound a little bit out of tune. And you check your tuning, your open strings are all in tune, but your chords sound maybe a little bit nasty. That can be because your nut is maybe not maximizing sort of the tuning of the guitar at that particular spot on the neck. And it's just sort of something that we have to deal with. Me, for instance, I have certainly punched in chords in particular songs, basically just sort of tuning to the chord because I just couldn't keep everything in tune, just playing through it. It would sound sort of out of tune. And even though my intonation at the 12th fret was perfect, guaranteed, it's always perfect. I'm kidding. Sometimes, the nut can be the weakest link in the overall chain. So compensator nut basically makes your whole guitar a little bit more in tune. We're trying to get closer to having the perfect tuning stability on every fret. That is basically, in a nutshell, what a compensated nut does. So what I like about the Lok-n-Roll nuts is they do that, and some additional things is basically, we have really nice metal that we're using here, so it's not any kind of like pop metal that you might have on your licensed Floyd Rose or that sort of thing. And most importantly, the action of the nut itself is super low. So if you've ever played a guitar and the action is maybe a little bit too high at the first, second, third, fourth fret, whatever, you know how much of a pain in the ass that is. It feels like the whole guitar is just battling against you, and no matter how much you sort of adjust your truss rod or the action at the bridge, it's just not going to feel right unless that nut is at an appropriate height. So what's cool about this is it actually has kind of like a little shelf that sort of rests on the fingerboard here, so that you're basically guaranteed to get it at the perfect action. So that's awesome. Some different improvements that were made from the version 1 to the version 2 nut is we actually have full-on normal Floyd Rose, what are these called? Clamp screws, I guess, is what you call them. And then the ones that these come with are, the ones that the Lok-n-Roll comes with are actually titanium locking screws. So, they're not going to strip or anything like that. And that is something that I really appreciate. Greg over at Lok-n-Roll, he listened to people's feedback. I know he hit me up and asked me, hey, what do you think? What could be improved? But he asked that on the version 1, I should say. And that was one of the things that I thought could be improved because we were sort of using the smaller, it had the same sort of screw hole size. I don't know what the size is, like 2 millimeters or something like that for the saddle. So you were basically using the same saddle screw to unlock the nut, which is just, I don't know, just sort of different. For me, guitar players being creatures of habit that we are, keeping this at the normal, I guess that's 3 millimeters locks here, so we can use kind of the bigger wrench that comes with the Floyd Rose. That's cool. So I think a lot of people had that feedback, and so that was incorporated into the version 2, so that is much appreciated. So thanks, Greg, for doing that. And then some of the other benefits, similar to the version 1, there's really no like sharp edges. I don't know if you guys have ever done some stuff where you like slide up past the first fret or whatever on a normal Floyd Rose locking nut. That can be somewhat painful. All right, so let's I'm just gonna check out how it sounds tuning stability wise. I'm basically going into my Kemper today. Usually I use Marshall or 5150 or whatever for kind of more high gain stuff, but I really kind of want to show you all sort of how the guitar in and of itself sounds. So I'm going to be doing some clean stuff, and I don't know, my Kemper's pretty good at doing that, I guess. So there you have it. All right, so right, yeah, that sounded really good. Everything sounds really kind of as it should, so I'm not hearing anything that's poking out to me, at least playing it, that sounds super sour or whatever. So really, really nice chordy kind of things there. So let's kick up the gain, see how that translates to some more gainy sounds. Oh man, I could literally just play this thing all day. It's so easy to play. Playing chords is such a joy and a treat, as they say. And I will mention also that just the action being super low here, it's not too low. It's really just right. It's right in that nice Goldilocks zone of being not too high, not too low. Just makes everything so easy to play. So if you have a guitar that you feel like you're kind of fighting against all of the time, I would definitely try one of these out. It might make all of the difference in playability. That being said, let's test the tuning stability of this Lok-n-Roll nut. So this is kind of something I did on my first video as well. Basically, right, because we're dealing with a compensated nut, everything should be exactly in tune from the first fret to the open string. So I'm going to jump over to my Polytune, which has a really big tuning screen, so it'll be easy to see, and we'll take a look at that and see if that is true. All right, guys, so I'm here sitting in front of my pedal board. The Polytune is down there. Check out the tuning here. So, okay. So open strings, trying not to hit them too hard. All right. So if you didn't notice, I am in E flat here, or D sharp, if you want to get real specific. All right, so we're in tune. All right, I got a D sharp here, first fret. Here we go. And there it is. All right, A sharp should be B. Perfect. All right, F sharp. We're gonna get G. G strings, always a little bit wonky, as everybody knows. If I start pressing too hard, it'll go way sharp, so I gotta, you know, light feather touch. C sharp, D, there we go. G sharp, A, just right on the money. D sharp, E, there you go, perfect. Absolutely perfect. Okay, so let's try it with another guitar. I did this previously, so we'll try it with another guitar that doesn't have a Lok-n-Roll compensated nut. What should I grab here? Oh, all right, let's check it against this one. Oh, focus. I love this guitar. This guitar plays really well. Take this one out on the road with me. I use it a lot. Have not checked. I haven't plugged this one in a couple days, so I don't know where the tuning's at. And I'm a full step down in D on this one, so bear with me. It's going to be a little bit different, but for all intents and purposes, you should kind of get the gist. So this is a great guitar. It came out of the box really nice. What I would consider to be pretty bang on perfect action at the first fret. So this is a really great guitar to play. So let's see where we're at here. Neck pickup. All right, so we're a little sharp there. No matter how light I play, I cannot get that to go. I can't get it to be bang on. There we go. Nope, a little bit out. There you go. All right. A little more difficult than with the Lok-n-Roll, but we got it. All right. So this is my B string. Oh, it's way off. I'm trying to fret it literally as light as I possibly can. Yeah, it's just off. Now, are you going to hear that? I don't know. Eventually you will. All right. G string, the dreaded G string, or F string. It was actually pretty close. Closer than the B string, that's for sure. All right, D string. Not bad, a little bit sharp. All right, A string. There you go. All right, that one's perfect at least. We're 1 for 5 here. All right. E string, what do we got? It's still just a little bit, a little sharp. All right, well, there you go. You get the idea. And again, I love this guitar. This guitar rules. You know, it sounds great. It plays great. I have no complaints. But do I think it could be improved with a Lok-n-Roll compensated nut? I certainly do. So, yeah, I'll try to get one on this guy as well. What else can I say? Yeah, it's just more in tune, easier to play. I don't know. No bullshit. That's pretty much the long and the short of it. I don't know. All right, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up or subscribe, or don't. I don't really care. But do check out Lok-n-Roll I got a link to them in the description below. All right, I will see you next time.